Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Icon Cup Series here on Sunday night on SRM. This is going to be a big one. It's the cutoff race for the round of 8. We are going to cut our playoff drivers in half and see who is going to go on to the final 3 races of the season. As always, I am Shane Cochran. Up in the booth with me, per usual, is Alan Bergen. Alan, how's your weekend going?
It's going great. It's Sunday night. We're here in Vegas. Who's going to roll the dice? Who's going to put it all on red? Who's going to go all in? It's going to be a 250 lap poker match.
Yes, sir. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our season schedule. We are here at the end of round of 8. It's been a long season as we follow pretty much race for race what the IRL NASCAR League has been doing. I think they are still racing at Vegas right now. That race hasn't wrapped up yet. So happy to have you join us over here on YouTube. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you want to see more racing action here. But yeah, so this is the cutoff race, Alan. This is where the pressure is going to be on. 160 laps, stages at 50 and 100, and this decides who is going to be in that final 4 that's going to race it out in Homestead, Martinsville, and Phoenix.
Absolutely. And, you know, 3 races and for your top 4 to decide that championship at Phoenix here in a couple weeks time. I'm excited. These drivers are, I know, excited. And really, you know, here we are in Las Vegas. Like I said, I'm just over the moon excited, and I'm glad to be, you know, back here with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth.
Yeah, this is just one of those races. It's kind of the last chance for the crowd to make their way in. We've just pulled up our playoff point standing. So Brian Smith and Patrick Colby have both locked in with wins here in this round. But from there on back, it's kind of anybody's race. So Ryan Patty comes in 9 points above the cut line in third position. That Braxton Deweese and Jacob Smith are actually tied for the last position. There is a tiebreaker in the league rules. It has to do with top 10s and top 5s. But I'm guessing by the end of this one, we're not going to have those two tied up. They are going to find a way to get stage points or pick up the win one way or the other. And then the three drivers below them, Cody Neal, Chuck Van Schaik, and Kyle Purcell, they are not, out of reach points-wise, but they probably need to win stages or win the race, or see Braxton and Jacob have serious issues for them to catch up here. And then Kyle Purcell, I believe, the entire Chicagoland race team is not going to be here for this race. They might have gone camping, if I remember right. I saw it in the Discord. They are not going to make it back for the race. So Kyle Purcell pretty much out of this playoff consideration cutoff race at this point. So it's going to be Cody Neal and Chuck Van Schaik that are kind of the desperate drivers. They're going to need big points or some bad luck for the ones ahead of them. Ryan Patty's got just a little bit of comfort. And then Deweese and Smith are going to be kind of keeping an eye on each other all night, I would imagine, as well as Patty and those other drivers, to see what they're going to do. So we're going to have a bit of a rainbow color scheme going on in our tower tonight, so you can keep up and remember what situation each drivers are in. Brian Smith, Patrick Colby will be blue, or sorry, they will be green because they are good to go and they are in to the round of 4. Patty, Deweese, and Smith, they're going to be showing as blue, and then Neal and Van Schaik are going to be red. And we'll kind of remind you of that as the race goes on. They are finished with qualifying and now wrapping up the warm-up session. Go ahead and take a look at our race breakdown here. Again, we're at Las Vegas. It's the last race in the round of 8. Air temp 85 degrees, track temp 90 degrees. Looks like some of the info did not update yet. We'll get that done right now. 160 laps. There it is. And stages at 50 and 100. 5 additional tire sets per usual. Incident penalties at 24 per usual. And then up to 3 green-white checkers. And tonight's fuel window, we're expecting to be somewhere between 34 and 37 laps. So you're going to have pits in each of the stages as well as the final run there. Probably about 1 pit each time. So drivers are going to have to skip tires on one of those stops to be able to make it all the way, and maybe skip them on another if you want to have one in your pocket for a late race overtime restart. And now drivers are getting loaded up on the grid. Going to be Bentley Glazer on the pole inside of Ryan Patty, and that is going to be your front row. We're still waiting on 2 drivers to join the field. Once they do, we will run through our starting grid. Glazer, one of those drivers that made the initial group of drivers into the playoffs, so it was eliminated a couple weeks ago. So he is going for broke, nothing to lose, hunting for glory.
Yeah, one of those drivers that has everything, nothing to lose and everything to gain.
And we're off. So starting on row 1, going to be Bentley Glazer and Ryan Patty out front. Then Jacob Smith and Jake Champion on row 2. Row 3 is going to be Brian Smith and Zach Lockett. Row 4 going to be Chuck Van Schaik and Braxton Deweese. Then finishing out the starting top 10, Charlie Widener and Adam Ball in 9th and 10th. Patrick Colby and Nathan Finnegan on row 6. Then John McNeil and Brad Delph on row 7. Chris Camburn and Brock Hersey make up row 8. Hanover Fist and Cody Neal in row 9. Then Gladelich and Woods rounding out your top 20. And Cody Eldred in there as well. I think Gladelich is running race control because he has not started the race or gotten in his car. So we've got 20 cars going to be out there starting this race. Bentley Glazer on the pole in that 87. Ready to show us what he's got here in Las Vegas for the last race in the round of 8 with the Icon Cup Series. And we are racing down the front stretch. Green flag in the air. Not a great restart for the outside lane. A couple cars back, and that has got them 3 and 4 wide already. Champion up high. Finnegan trying to go with him. That high lane, 3 wide, is a great place to be if you've got some momentum here, especially on the first lap of a restart or a start of the race. Ryan Patty takes the lead away from Glazer. He's got Jacob Smith coming with him on the outside.
I mean, we're lap 2 and we're already 2-3 wide here, Shane. As you look a little bit deeper in the field, there's that Hornet's Nest behind the top 3 of Brian Smith as the start of the Hornet's Nest, if you will.
That was a big hit, big contact for the 4 car into the wall on the exit of turn 2. That kind of cost him the momentum he had trying to get past Patty. We'll have to keep an eye on him, see how serious that damage is. You can see it on the front fender.
And that's the mistakes that these drivers that are still vying for a playoff spot in that final 4 cannot afford. Is mistakes bouncing it off the wall, causing damage, or essentially burying yourself early in stage 1. Because once you get buried in stage 1, stage 2 and 3, you're playing catch up.
Yeah, this is a big momentum track as well. The restarts are going to be your biggest opportunity to get multiple positions at a time. Once we get spread out like this, it becomes almost just a game of dirty air. You've got to find a way to poke your nose out, get some extra downforce in the turns, and then tuck in behind someone to draft down the straightaways. Kind of bread and butter intermediate racing for the next gen car. And then at the same time, you've got to be saving tires and maybe thinking about fuel depending on what strategy you're running here tonight, Alan.
Yeah, definitely. Watching Braxton DeWeese right now in that number 8 car. Right now, Braxton is currently sitting 8th, and he's not just to the outside of Charlie or Chuck Van Schaik. There he is, Braxton DeWeese out of Ohio. There he is. We're on board with him here on lap number 5, just being calm, cool, and collective. He knows what's at stake here, as he would love to celebrate a championship at Jane's on Main.
Yeah, he's running 7th right now, which feels pretty good, but that's not keeping up with the 2 drivers he's kind of racing on points for that final position are Patty and Jacob Smith, and they're out front. So he's going to have to find a way to gain some positions and get up there to contend with those other drivers that are coming in right at or just above the cut line.
You know, one other thing about Braxton Lewis is he has not made a big splash here in the playoffs, throughout this playoff run, but he's pointed himself in. He's put himself in positions to get himself through to the next round. And I believe that's what he's going to do here tonight. He knows how to finish these elimination races, and he knows how to get himself through to the next round. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Braxton up near the front, if not in victory lane by the end of this thing.
I wouldn't be surprised either. That 8 car is always strong. Doesn't always have the finishes that go along with the speed he has earlier in the race, but definitely a contender. So Patty's starting to pull away out front. Glazer did get around Jacob Smith for that 2nd position, but Smith not dropping back that hard. I think that damage is probably worth repairing, but not putting a sail out in the wind to drag him backwards.
Absolutely. Working lap 9 of 50 here in stage number 1. So far, Ryan Patty out of ECR, well, now Bentley Glazer, as I say that, finds himself up in the lead. Ryan Patty doing what he needs to do. You know, Ryan Patty's going to have to give up a little bit to, you know, the old adage, take 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Yeah, and we just saw that happen. Let's actually jump back real quick. Patty was kind of running away with it. I imagine he had an issue here. This is where the pass happened. So, yeah, Patty right down on the white line and got loose. That let Glazer shoot on by. And DeWeese now up to 5th, just as we kind of gave him a call to action to get up there and try to catch Patty. And Jacob Smith, he is on the move, getting around Widener and Ball, trying to go forward. So far in the race, looks like Chris Camburn, I believe, is our biggest gainer. And now it's Cody Neal, so it's kind of changing on the fly. Widener, DeWeese, Ball, Camburn all up 3 spots. Cody Neal up 4. And again, Neal and Van Schaik are the drivers who have a pretty significant gap to the cutoff line, especially if one of those drivers, well, I guess it wouldn't affect them if one of those drivers won. They're still going to need to catch up in points. But Van Schaik and Neal are the drivers kind of desperate for either an amazing points day from stage points, or they need to win this thing.
I mean, I would put my money in the winning column. They need to win. It's a must-win situation for a lot of these drivers still vying for that, you know, that top 5 or that top 4 in points. Now, the one thing that we're going to touch on here is there's 2 drivers already locked in. That's Brian Smith and Patrick Colby. Patrick Colby, you know, by winning at the Roval.
I think Colby won at Kansas and Smith won at the Roval. There it is.
You're right.
Like, it's been a long season out. A lot of races to try and remember here in the stats booth.
Oh, man. The stats guy needs to be wrote up.
But clean racing so far. We saw a couple drivers tag the wall. We saw Patty get loose down low. But otherwise, 14 laps in the books. No issues, no cautions.
Yeah, so far it's so clean here as we are working lap number 14. Once again, the stage lengths are 50 and 50 and 50.
Yeah, the last one should be 60. I think we need to send a ticket, an IT ticket into SDK. We've got something
dang it,
goofed
Carl.
up in their new race analysis. Anyway, 50, 50, and 60 for 160 total laps.
Good luck on the IT ticket. Some guy named Carl's in the IT ticket booth going, I'll get to it later. Nonetheless, we're getting close to the end of the season here, and you know, I mean, what a season it's been so far up to this point. As right now, Jake Champion working to the outside of the Alabama sponsored car of Patrick Colby there in that number 28 car. And I tell you what, 3 points. Speaking of Patrick Colby and that sponsored car, Saturday at Faroe Field in Columbia, Missouri, 3 points is what secured Alabama the lead over Missouri Saturday.
Yeah, it's been a pretty shooken up. Shooken, is that the right word? Shaken up college football season. I know my team's not having a great year. We already fired our coach.
Already?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Virginia Tech fan, and then a lot of my family are Penn State fans. I think I heard that Franklin got fired today from Penn State. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed yet or not, but
if you get a chance to look up on YouTube, well, we got a little bit of a hole in the action. Look up the Virginia Tech entrance.
Yeah, it's always a good time. We got Metallica rocking.
They registered an earthquake hit last time Metallica played there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Adam Ball there, solidly in the top 10, running 7th. And here comes, no surprise, out of Northville, Michigan, the 78 car, Brian Smith, carrying this navy blue and gray colors, riding with the Michigan Humane Society on that race car. You know, he won a lot of races with Johnsonville Brats as he goes 3 wide onto the apron, and these guys are using up every bit of that racetrack. And now he's got, you know what, I'll finish out the season with the Humane Society.
Yeah, I mean, the front group is kind of single filed out, and so had the whole field, but this battle here for 5th, I mean, you saw it went 4 wide almost, and then they went right back to single file. And Widener is the driver that kind of lost out there. He was in 5th and dropped all the way to 8th through that exchange. Chris Camburn and Cody Neal continuing to march through the field. Camburn now up 7 positions. They're in the 88.
There he is. There's that number 88 car, Chris Camburn. Just kind of minding his own business right now. Chris Camburn out of the playoffs. But he can go out there and play a spoiler for one of these drivers.
Yeah, up 7 positions. Cody Neal right there behind him. Up 9 after starting 18th. Ooh, Finnegan tags the wall. And we're about halfway through this run, and tires might be finally starting to give up on the front end of these cars. Again, if you're in dirty air like most of these drivers back in the pack have been, that nose just spends the whole turn sliding, it seems, especially on exit, and if you abuse it, it's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, these Dr. Feelgoods are going to start feeling like Dr. Feelbads.
Zach Lockett now working on Jacob Smith for 4th position. Or sorry, he's in 4th, going for 3rd. And they're both catching Ryan Patty. So we ride on board with Zach. And this is one of those things, when the next gen car first came out, I remember people saying that when there's 3 cars, it's the 3rd car that has the advantage. We'll see what Zach can do about it. And see, he's doing the perfect thing, kind of splitting both of them so he can get some clean air on the nose for exit. Patty fighting back. Smith on the bottom. This time Lockett has to go to the 3rd lane to get clean air and just kind of loses some momentum going up the hill. Oh, and Smith goes around off the nose of Ryan Patty.
Oh.
Caution is out. For the first time here in the Las Vegas 250. You saw it happen live as we were riding on board with Zach Lockett. Smith and Patty got together coming out of turn 2, I believe. Go back and take a look at what happened with those two.
Ooh, and
yeah, I saw some retaliation under caution.
Jacob Smith voices displeasure. Here it is, right there. Looks like they were just going for the same piece of real estate.
I'm not sure Smith could have been any closer to the wall.
I mean, look, if he was going to be any closer to the wall, he'd be up there with the campers. I don't really think anybody was at fault, really. I mean, it's just, like I said, just good, hard racing.
Let's back it up and watch this. Yeah, they're certainly racing hard. I couldn't tell if Smith was all the way against the fence or not. I mean, he's in the wall, so.
But here's the thing, though, Shane.
Sliding up. I mean, you're just racing hard. This is it.
Here's
Cutoff
the-
race. Both of these drivers going for a final spot into the round of 4. The pressure's on, and it just boiled over.
Here's the thing also, though, Shane, is we don't know what these monitor setups are like. Everybody's got different monitor setups in their rigs. And, I mean, Ryan Petty might have a single monitor, as where Jacob Smith might have triples, or, you know, vice versa, or VR, or this, that, or the other. So, I mean, there's really no way to tell one way or the other, but, I mean, man, just a tough break for both drivers. Luckily, we're still in stage number 1, and this is what you don't want to happen. You don't want to get yourself buried in stage 1.
Yeah, I think the good news for both of those drivers is I'm not sure either one of them really hit the wall all that hard, if at all.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a penalty handed down for retaliation on the side of Buddy Smith, or Buddy Motorsports. There with Jacob Smith. You know, I'm sure, you know, this league is well ran, and I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that's probably not going to fly.
Yeah, both drivers still in the pits. Let's go back and see if we can get our eyes on the Love Taps post wreck. Might have already happened at this point. Well, anyway, we saw it when we were kind of cutting between the replays. A little bit of door banging after the whistle.
Is that a roughing the passer?
Something like that, yeah. So you can see Patty still with damage on the right front. See if we can see any damage here on the 4. He doesn't look too bad. Both of them were in the pits for over a minute, making some repairs. So now if you're Cody Neal, Van Schiker, DeWeese, you've got to pounce on this opportunity to get stage points here in the next 20-some laps, while Smith and Patty are stuck at the back, possibly still with more damage. And that seems to be exactly what Neal and Van Schiker are doing. Both of them now in the top 6 as the green flag is back in the air. Bentley Glazer back out front. He started on the pole. Has led 3 laps. Or sorry, he's led more than that. I was looking at the wrong number there. Glazer has led 21 laps. But Brian Smith already down low trying to take it away. He does. Now Cody Neal on the bottom trying to follow him through. But Zach Lockett is there too, along with John McNeil. First time we've seen that 48 get up there and fight for the lead tonight.
Yeah, just 22 laps left to go here in stage number 2. These guys are going to start battling hard here as we get through this. The end of the first stage. I mean, at this point, I would have guessed it and went, you know, and get tired at the end of the stage. But here comes Cody Neal, one of those drivers still buying to get his way in, and he's going to have himself a big night. I can just feel it. He's going to slide up in front of Glazer.
Lockett shoots to the outside of the 87. And now DeWeese up to 5th as he gets around McNeil. Now Braxton did take tires there. He's on 4 fresh tires, while most of these other drivers, I believe, went fuel only. Looking at the pit time, so you can see how much faster the 8 is down on the bottom with the fresh tires all the way to 2nd. I think he passed 3 and 1 on that turn. And they're 3 wide behind him too, as Glazer is now dropping back through the field. Stuck in the middle. Neal now in 3rd. Right now,
I like this.
Braxton DeWeese and Cody Neal are the ones seeing the opportunity to get points here and improve their situation. Deweese takes the lead away from Brian Smith. And then back behind him, Finnegan now in the middle, splitting Adam Ball and Cody Neal. Chris Camburn up to 5th now. And we're seeing the fresh tires move up to the front.
Yeah, I just don't know if I would have made the call for 4 tires just early in stage 1. I would have, you know,
I mean,
there's several other things they could have done.
I think if you're Braxton Deweese, I think it's the perfect call. You're going to grab the stage win, maybe some stage points, and pull ahead of Ryan Patty and Jacob Smith, who were wrapped up in that first caution. Jacob is up to 7th, though. He must have gotten some fresh tires along with his repairs. So both of them going to make up some ground on Patty. Again, it was just 9 points, the advantage for Ryan Patty above the cut line. When we came into this thing, Deweese and Jacob Smith were both tied for the final position of the 4.
Right now, if this race were to end right now, Braxton Deweese would win his way in. Jacob Smith, I would believe, point his way in.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a lot of stage points to figure out before the end of this one, but yeah, I think any of these playoff drivers, Deweese, Smith, Patty, Neal, or Van Schaik, gets a win, that's going to just move that cut line 1 car up and make it even harder. But Nathan Finnegan has driven his way to 2nd. Adam Ball's holding on to 3rd. Patrick Colby's in 4th. Chris Camburn 5th. Brian Smith up to 6th. And that top 5 all got fresh tires on that last caution, and that is why they are the top 5.
Well, the developing story right now, Ryan Patty mired all the way back there in a 19th position after getting into the wall with Jacob Smith. I mean, that incident right there would be the one that would cause Ryan Patty to be eliminated from the playoffs today, as he has lost touch with the field and reality here as he comes down to Beck straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, he's over a second off the pace. If he could still be on old tires too and just trying to ride out the stage. Just 13 laps to go here in stage 1 with Braxton Deweese out front, kind of matching pace with Nate Finnegan in 2nd. He really needs that stage win to help his point situation. Every position's going to matter. Finnegan knocked out of the playoffs not that long ago in the previous round, partially because he had a bad race and partially because he had to miss a race in that round. So he's looking for some redemption too. Last year's champion, already eliminated. But he is maybe inching forward on Deweese ever so slightly these last couple laps. We check in with our fastest 5 for 5. Yeah, Finnegan and Deweese are the 2 fastest drivers out there right now, with Finnegan a few hundredths of a second per lap faster on average. Got it down to 3/10. Oh, Camburn into the wall, almost collects Jacob Smith. The 4 checks up and avoids contact. Jacob riding in 6th position, Camburn in 5th. And I think Charlie Widener might have had an issue 1 lap ago. He is kind of riding by himself. Oh, I think he might have just had a network issue there for a minute.
Oh, no.
Iracing can't find him.
I mean, he's
still
been
on the
blinking
track
for
now,
a minute
though.
now.
But, yeah, off the pace, back behind the field around where Ryan Patty is running.
9 laps to go to stage number 1. Braxton Deweese well on his way to getting that all-important stage win and putting that self closer to the top 4 in points here. as Nathan Finnegan out of CCR, Collar City Racing, with everything to gain and nothing to lose, could play spoiler to these guys as we check in on the other half of our breaking news here. Jacob Smith up to 6th after getting into an incident with Ryan Patty.
And he's still side by side with Camburn. Camburn tags the wall again. This is the closest battle on the track here with 8 laps to go in stage 1. Jacob being a little creative there with the throttle and the downshift mid-corner. Might still be fighting the handling after the damage he picked up. That turn seemed a lot smoother for him. Oh, and in that shot, you can see just how bright the sun is in the driver's eyes as they come out of turn 4 down the front stretch.
Yeah, absolutely working lap number 45 and 160. Just 6 laps to go here in stage number 1. Braxton DeWeese in control of stage number 1 right now, and as we are focused up on Jacob Smith. Jacob Smith riding that outside line, taking the old Dale Jr. line around here. You know, Dale Jr. was a high side hustler here in the Cup Series when he drove, and Jacob Smith following him. Following those footsteps here, finding speed up there against the wall.
Another driver that took 4 tires but didn't quite get to the front as fast as everyone else was Brad Delph. You can see he started all the way back in 14th, dropped as low as 18th, but ever since that pit stop has just been grabbing a position about every other lap, and he has caught the 78 now in this battle for 7th.
Brad Delph having himself a good run here. Running down Brian Smith in that Buddy Motorsports car.
So Jacob did get around Chris Camburn. That was now for 5th place. Now he's hunting Patrick Colby and Adam Ball. Sometimes you get in a race and kind of have, I'll call it the Kyle Busch effect. You get wrecked early, it really lights a fire under the seat of that race car and make you drive with a little more intensity the rest of the night. I think that's what we're seeing here with Jacob. Gaining up through the field. Now just 2 to go here in stage 1. And he's going to get around Colby. See if he can catch Adam Ball here before the stage caution comes out. Ooh. Finnegan is catching DeWeese too, using the high line.
White flag on stage number 1. 1 lap to go here at stage number 1. Braxton DeWeese, Nathan Finnegan throwing haymakers at each other. Who's going to pick up the win here in stage 1? These are all important points for Braxton DeWeese as they come down the back straightaway one more time. And here comes Nathan Finnegan. Trying to take one last shot. He's going to grab a little bit of the wall here. And that might have helped him out. He's right there. What does he do this time by? And Braxton's going to take stage 1.
And the 95 and the 30 of Ryan Patty both able to stay on the lap here at the end of the stage. So with that, drivers picking up stage points. Going to be Braxton DeWeese out front, then Nathan Finnegan, Adam Ball. Jacob Smith made it to 4th. So some good points for him. Patrick Colby in 5th. Chris Camburn, Brad Delph, Brian Smith, Chuck Van Schaik, and Cody Neal back to 10th. So all of our playoff drivers, with the exception of Brian Patty, did get some stage points. Braxton DeWeese got the best of them. And Jacob Smith not doing too bad himself. So with that, we're going to take our first commercial break of the night. We'll be right back for the start of Stage 2 here with the Icon Cup Series in the Las Vegas 250 on SRM. And welcome back to the Icon Cup Series in the Las Vegas 250. We just wrapped up Stage 1 for Braxton DeWeese. Got the stage win, holding off Nathan Finnegan. And now, we are starting Stage 2. Chris Camburn with a 2-tire stop, I believe. Maybe fuel only. Was right on the edge in terms of time. He did burn up one of those 4 fresh tires in the first stage while a lot of drivers tried to save them. So that might be how he got the lead up in front of Braxton, but I expect him to get past quickly here on the older tires. As now Jacob Smith up to 4th, trying to get around Nathan Finnegan on the outside for 3rd. And Camburn goes to the high side. DeWeese down low. Going to take the lead away from the 88.
Yeah, here we go. Lap 6 of 50 laps here in stage number 2. Braxton Deweese continuing, picking up right where he left off. Nathan Finnegan here in a rat's nest. Oh boy. Stage 1 relatively clean. Stage 2 so far the same way.
Yeah, we had really only one caution so far other than the stage break and 4 lead changes. Drivers who have led a lap tonight: Braxton Deweese with 23, Bentley Glazer with 21, then Ryan Patty had 8, Brian Smith with 3, and Camburn with 2 there on that restart. But he has dropped pretty quickly back there. He's in the high line trying to stay out of the way. And cars just driving by him now. Again, he's the only car that did not take fresh tires under the caution. Braxton Deweese used fresh tires to get to the front and take stage 1. And I think Camburn's just in the long game. He had used an extra set early on, kind of sacrificing the beginning of stage 2 to set himself up for the tires he's going to need at the end of the race. Meanwhile, Deweese pulling away from Jacob Smith in second. Just want to remind everyone the colors there in our tower. Green drivers are already locked into the round of 4. They're going for All for Glory trophy hunting. Drivers in blue, that's Deweese, Smith, and Patty, came into the race either right at or just above the cut line. So they need to have a solid points day to kind of do better than each other. And right now, Patty is the driver not winning that battle, involved in an incident with Jacob Smith. He's gotten extensive repairs done. That last stop was over 2 minutes, and that's got him a lap down. But he's the only car 1 lap down, so he is in position for the lucky dog were it to come out. And if we take a closer look at the 30 car, the damage he'd had earlier was on the right front fender. And we'll see as he comes around how well he's got that one fixed up. Might need a little more duct tape, Alan. Can actually see up under the hood on that 30 car, so some still significant aero damage for sure.
What do you call it? 200-mile-an-hour tape?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen cars back in the 90s. They would just duct tape them all up.
So Finnegan has dropped back here. He's now in 5th, and that's let Brian Smith and Patrick Colby cruise their way into the top 4. Both of them, again, the pressure's off, and sometimes that you perform better once the pressure is off. You can just kind of focus on enjoying the race, the excitement, knowing you're already in the next round of the playoffs. You can see Brian there started 5th, but dropped back as low as 8th. But hasn't gotten outside the top 10 all night and is driving forward after 4 tires here on that last caution.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we're watching Brian Smith. He knows he's locked in. Like you said, he's just out there racing. He knows he's through to the next round. He knows he doesn't have any pressure. And I mean, that just makes you breathe a little easier for one night and one night only.
Patrick Colby, kind of the same situation. He started a little further back around 11th and dropped to 15th. He's just been, looks like he marched to the front after that incident caution back around lap 25. And then has hung around the top 5 ever since. Cody Neal just behind him. He's in 5th place. And he has gained the most positions of anyone tonight, 13. Just not a great qualifying there for the 38. But he has gotten the job done, moving his way up, especially here on this last restart. You can see he gained about 5 positions.
How about the Rocket, Zach Lockett, back here in 7th position, down 1 spot from where he started. Some new paint, a new Raptor on that Adrenaline Racing number 93 Toyota Camry.
Yeah, not his usual purple setup. He's trying to be the next car to get around Nathan Finnegan. So we're getting a little single filed out here. This is the closest battle on the track between Lockett and Finnegan. And right now, again, the cream rising to the top. Our top 5, all playoff drivers. Cody Neal, the driver most desperate to get a win to make sure he gets into this next round. Although, if Patty remains in 19th, Neal might have an opportunity as long as he can get, you know, kind of get stage points in the top 5 and finish the race in the top 5. That might be enough for him to catch Ryan Patty. I think the gap was probably 31 points coming into this.
I believe so.
Let's try and do some back of the envelope math here. So he finished 10th in stage 1. So he got 1 point. So make it, that's the 31 points to Patty. And right now, he's in 15 positions better than him. That leaves a 6-point gap advantage to Patty. But if he were to finish the stage right here in 4th, he's going to pick up those 6 points. So I think 4th or better at the stage and at the end of the race is what it's going to take for Neal if Patty remains a lap down in 19th. If Patty starts coming up through the field after making some more repairs, then it goes back to a must-win situation for the 38.
Yeah, there's one driver in the field right now that would love to see this race go caution, become a caution fest, and that's Ryan Patty. In that number 30 car, he sits back there in that 19th position. He would love to see this race have this stage, at least the stage, have a field of slew of cautions. Because right now he is behind the 8-ball. He has buried himself deep, and there's one driver that he's not happy with, and that's that third place running car, the Jacob Smith.
And this battle for third is heating up now as Cody Neal is going around Jacob Smith on the bottom. And there's a whole train of cars that are going to try to follow him through. Finnegan, Colby, Lockett, Glazer, and Ball. And Colby, the driver, losing a couple positions there in the last few laps. Back to 7th. Still within reach, though, of 3rd here in this pack, as Deweese and Brian Smith kind of pulling away from everybody else right now. And we're speaking about all the repairs Patty's been making, so we check in on our wrench wranglers tonight. Ryan Patty with almost 3 minutes of repairs done, and he's still a little bit off pace. And it looks like we have a driver hitting pit road. That's John McNeil.
Hate to see it for that 48 car.
And yeah, I mean, this might just be a planned stop. We're about halfway through the stage. Nothing wrong with pitting right here as long as it stays green. I'm just wondering if McNeil coming to pit road now is going to maybe put the pressure on some other drivers to try and undercut the leaders, who are probably just going to ride this out as long as they can, and in case there is a caution. No reason for them to take a gamble on it.
So let me ask you this, Shane. Do you forego the tires at the end of this stage and have that extra little ace in the hole, if you will, should a caution come out late race?
I think it depends on your situation. So, right, we see more drivers coming to pit road now. Just like I said, with Neal out there, drivers not wanting to be the last to come down and get those fresh tires, assuming they're even going to take fresh tires. We might see some drivers
you take at least right.
gamble on. Well, to your point though, you need to save a set And so taking rights is just as bad as taking all four from that respect. It saves you some time. But the fuel window, what did we say it was? It's like 34 to 38. So you're over a half a tank burned up here, and you need more than half a tank to get to the end. So I don't think 2 tires is a very viable option under green flag, but it does look like that's what Jacob Smith and Cody Neal did there on that stop. And there we see Brian Smith come down pit road. So Deweese now staying out.
You gotta remember, stage 3 is 10 laps longer than stage 2.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, I want to make sure I've got at least 2 sets after, you know, after the start of stage 3. One for a green flag stop, and then one for a late race caution. Because we've seen it already. This is a track where you only need about 2 laps of a restart. You know, in a green-white checker, we saw Braxton Deweese go from like 10th to the lead in maybe 3 laps, and he did not look like he was trying that hard to do it.
No, he was not. And, you know, want to thank everybody for checking in here, watching, wherever you may be, on your phones, in your own, wherever you may be. Haven't seen too much from the Braxton Deweese fan club.
Yeah, chat's been quiet tonight. Let us know who you're cheering for, who you think's going to pull this thing out. What's your prediction for our round of 4 playoff drivers? So right now, I mean, I think if I'm Braxton Deweese, the window to come down and try to match these drivers on tires has left, right? He's been out there 5 or 6 laps now, longer than they have. But he could still go another almost 10 laps before he has to pit for fuel, and could go with maybe a fuel-only stop. And also leave that opportunity out there to catch all of these drivers a lap down if another caution were to come out, because that's the situation they're in. Jacob Smith, Brian Smith, Cody Neal, Glazer, McNeil, they're all trapped a lap down as now Colby hits pit road, as does Cody Eldred and Zach Lockett, and they're all going to be at least a lap down.
Yeah.
Through this cycle. And the other driver this hurts is Ryan Patty, because he has pitted and he's now 2 laps down, so out of that lucky dog consideration. And Van Schaik, desperate, he's in a win and in, you know, a must-win situation pretty much for his playoff hopes, so he's out here hoping for a caution as well, riding in 3rd as Finnegan takes the lead away from Deweese.
And Deweese has got to be thinking about pit road here in the next 6 laps. He might be in conservation mode. He might be on a fuel run to see what his car can actually do, and see if he can stretch his stage.
He's
to
coming
the
to
end.
pit road right now, Alan.
Just make a liar out of me.
So Finnegan now out front. Van Schaik in 2nd. And there you can see Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, and Cody Neal. They're all trying to get back on the lead lap. You got to get around the 23 and the 6. And yeah, varying strategies here. We'll kind of wait until the whole cycle works out to do a rundown. But there are drivers taking 4 tires and some drivers taking 2 tires. Deweese on 2, Jacob Smith, Cody Neal, and Brian Smith all on 2. And so Brian Smith has unlapped himself. He's gotten around Nathan Finnegan. That leaves Cody Neal in the lucky dog spot. So Smith and Neal really the only two that wouldn't mind a caution now. They'd still prefer to see it go green flag because they are going to come out as the leader if this thing cycles all the way through. Finnegan and Van Schaik now 34 laps on this tank.
Yeah, just 15 laps to go here in stage number 2. There is the man of the hour right now, and that is Scholar City Racing's Nathan Finnegan. Here as we are, next week we go short track racing at Martinsville, and that's going to be a fun one to watch. A lot of these, we're going to take it down to the top 4 drivers for the next 3 races when we decided all in Phoenix.
I think it's Homestead next and then Martinsville.
Oh, okay. Homestead.
But yeah, Martinsville is just one of those races where either you've got that one circled on your calendar because you're good at it, or you're the other 99% of drivers that are dreading how are you going to survive, how's it going to play out in the points with everything on the line.
And I believe that's elimination race for the Real Life Cup Series.
That's right. So Cody Neal now unlapping himself. That leaves Jacob Smith in the lucky dog spot. I mean, Jacob's done a great job to rebound since that initial contact way back on lap 25 with Ryan Patty. Got him turned around, made some repairs, drove right up, got some points in stage 1.
Yep, you're correct. It's Homestead.
Really, the only active battle on track here is for 14th between Cody Eldred and Zach Lockett.
I tell you what, though, it seems just like yesterday. We were getting ready for the Daytona 120 and getting ready for Daytona, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, it seems like we blink, and here we are, at Las Vegas here in a round of 8.
Yeah, it's been a great season. A lot of drama, a lot of exciting wins. Fuel mileage, tires, whatever it is. Icon always puts on a great show. Just a ton of high quality drivers out there in this league. Relatively clean races. As now Finnegan and Van Schaik come to pit road. Some of the last drivers to do so. That leaves Adam Ball in the lead. He's made it 40 laps. And I'm not sure how much more they've got in the tank. Brad Delph now in second. Looks like Van Schaik also coming to pit road now, and Brock Hersey. And here comes the 19 of Adam Ball. And Brad Delph coming too. So that will complete the green flag cycle. And about 22 seconds behind him there is the 78 of Brian Smith. So we saw DeWeese and Smith were pretty much together when this pit cycle started. And so what has it cost the 8 car? We're waiting for all the timing to update here. Roughly 2.5 seconds is what DeWeese has lost to the 78 through that cycle by waiting just a little bit longer. And it looks like they all went with a 2-tire stop or went fuel only, but it took as long as a 2-tire stop would take to get that tank full. Almost about 10 seconds for everybody. Bentley Glazer is the first driver on 4 tires. riding in 5th place, almost 5 seconds behind the leader. And with just 7 laps to go, it's looking like Buddy Motorsports guys figured it out.
As per usual, Cody Neal was allowed to have a good run here. There they are. There's those 3 cars right there, 1st, 2nd, and 4th.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese, the only driver kind of breaking up that party. And again, this is a big playoff implications. Brian Smith is locked in. Jacob Smith just needs a really good points day. Cody Neal needs a win. And so this is going to be interesting here as we get into the 3rd stage of, how much do you love your teammate?
Right now, as we continue the Ryan Petty watch, he is not having a great day.
No. Patty now 2 laps down. Off the pace still. I mean, he's going to get at least one more chance to make some repairs, but that damage on the right front is pretty significant.
And that's what it goes back to. As I said before, we got 4 laps in stage number 2. Is you can't bury yourself in these playoff races. As lap by lap, Ryan Petty has to know his playoff hopes are on life support by this time.
Yeah, Deweese has been faster than the leader. That little bit of tire advantage coming in, it looks like about 6 laps later than the 78, but it's not going to be enough to catch him before the end of this stage with just 3 laps to go.
And just as we said at the Rocket, Zach Lockett will rocket himself out of the race and do the beer stand. Hanover Fist will win the race to the beer stand.
Oh, what happened to the Lockett?
We don't know.
I see a furled black flag and a meatball. Back on lap 96. We'll check on that when this stage wraps up. But for now, Cody Neal is the fastest driver on the track, and he's raced his way up to 2nd. He's holding off Braxton DeWeese, who has gotten around Jacob Smith and a couple lap cars here. So 1 to go here in stage 2. Brian Smith is out front with a 1.6 second lead over Neal. There are some battles a little further back. Van Schaik battling with Eldred. They're both trying to catch John McNeil. This is a battle for 10th. The last stage points here in stage 2. But it's going to be Brian Smith out front, taking that one. And so before we jump to commercial, let's go back and see maybe what happened. See if we can find what happened to Zach Lockett. And the answer might be no. It might have been just a hard network error, Alan. I can see when he got the meatball and when he picked up the black flag, but there's no Zach Lockett to look at in that moment. All right, so drivers picking up stage points. That time, Brian Smith, Cody Neal, Braxton DeWeese, Jacob Smith, Bentley Glazer, Nathan Finnegan, Jake Champion, Patrick Colby, Adam Ball, and John McNeil. So Cody, Neal, and Jacob Smith both doing what they needed to do to continue to gain on Ryan Patty. And we'll try to do a little more math here after commercial and tell you how close they really are. But thank you again for joining us here at the Las Vegas 250 on SRM with the Icon Cup Series. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Las Vegas 250 here with the Icon Cup Series. Last race in the round of 8. Brian Smith out front. He's already locked into the playoffs, but Braxton DeWeese and Cody Neal need to race their way in. Neal maybe needing a win to do it. Ryan Patty with some bad luck with contact earlier has set him back, stuck a lap down with bad damage. Watching his playoff hopes evaporate a little bit, but we're back racing. Here as Brian Smith jumps out to a comfortable lead. Braxton DeWeese tucks in behind Cody Neal, Bentley Glazer, Jacob Smith, Patrick Colby, all there fighting for the top 5. And that sun has still not set, Alan. I thought maybe we'd get into the night and we might still see a little bit of the lights come on, but beautiful sunset here in Vegas.
Beautiful sunset as they come down Nellis Specs, the Nellis Specs straightaway. Goodyear to Goodyear to Goodyear. 2 wide back here, Patrick Colby. And then is an absolute rat's nest back there. And they're going to go 3 wide here. Patrick Colby's a meet in the middle there.
Couple drivers slapping the wall. You see the sparks flying.
We're almost to 50 laps to go. And if you're Ryan Petty, that is not a lot of time here at this racetrack in his situation. He got just a little bit more damage fixed on that last pit stop. He is still mired back in that 17th position. So here's the thing, Shane. Ryan Petty right now at this stage of the race needs to pull the bunny out of the proverbial magic hat and make some magic happen here. Because right now, as the laps wind down, so is his playoff hopes.
Yeah, let's do a rundown here of our playoff drivers. So Brian Smith and Patrick Colby came in locked into this thing. They're sitting pretty. And Smith is out there leading the race. Colby's in the top 5 too. They're having great races on top of the playoff situation. Ryan Patty came in 3rd, 9 points above the cut line, but he is in 17th, 1 lap down, has gained no stage points here in the race. Braxton DeWeese won stage 1, and I believe finished 3rd in stage 2. So that should give him about 18 points. So he should be sitting 9 points above Patty even before the race finishes. So I think he's safe. Then Jacob Smith, he finished 7th in the first stage and 4th in stage 2. Yes, 4th in stage 2. So he's got maybe 11 points or so that he's gained. So he's also ahead of Patty as they run right now, even before they get the end of the race points. So both of those drivers having a great day. For Cody Neal to have some hope, I mean, obviously if he wins, he's good, but he could also gain that last spot if DeWeese or Smith could just fall off a little bit here in this race, because he's also picked up a fair amount of stage points. He was 2nd in stage 2 and 10th in stage 1. So those 3 drivers doing what needs to be done, picking up stage points in both stages. Ryan Patty missing out on that because of the contact, because of the damage. And so I think Jacob Smith and Braxton DeWeese are in unless they have an absolute catastrophe. Or if Neal is able to grab the victory, I think that will force Jacob Smith out based on the stage points they collected. And the fact that DeWeese and Smith came in tied right at the cut line at the start of this cutoff race for the round of 8. Did you get all that, Alan?
I did. So right now, as it stands, Ryan Patty's really hoping that Cody Neal has a power outage.
Yeah, he needs Neal and Smith probably to have a bad a bad third stage. And he's going to need some cautions to finish those repairs. We mentioned Patty's been leading those wrench wranglers tonight. Now over 3 minutes of repairs. Jacob Smith had 45 seconds to take care of himself, but it has not slowed him down. Why don't we do a check on our teams here? We already talked a little bit about Buddy Motorsports. Right now they're running 1, 2, and 7. Brian Smith out front. Cody Neal in second. And again, Alan, how much do you love your teammate? Because Smith could get this race win and kind of build up his bonus points. They're heading into the round of 4. Or, you know, maybe he backs off a little, gives Cody Neal a shot at this thing. That gets 2 Buddy Motorsports, maybe all 3 of them up into it.
No.
You know, it might actually be even more complicated because it might end up the way we were kind of estimating here, that if Cody Neal wins, he might push out his teammate Jacob Smith. Anyway, we'll leave that
Then again,
to the teammates, and then Colby, he's locked in for Dragonfly Racing. We mentioned Finnegan for Collar City. He's running 6. He's been up front at times, but has not been as dominant as some of these other drivers, and his teammates not having tremendous nights. Cody Eldred and Brock Hersey back in 14th and 15th. Van Schaik out there for Goat Racing. And Adam Ball leading the way for ECR, Electric City. His teammate Ryan Patty. We talked plenty about the 30 cars troubles tonight and what he needs to get back in this thing.
Well, he needs to talk to Martha. Or he just needs an angel in the outfield.
And the other driver in a must-win situation is Chuck Van Schaik. And he has not been leading laps, but he has been up there, kind of lurking this whole time. As right now, he's racing the 4 of Jacob Smith for 7th position. I wouldn't count the 23 out of this thing yet either. So Deweese hanging right there with Cody Neal, trying to figure out how to get to second, as he's got Patrick Colby breathing down his bumper. And then you got Bentley Glazer and Nate Finnegan, not in the playoffs, but 2 drivers that have been fast and picked up some wins all season long. Glazer started on the pole, so we know he knows how to get around this track. And this final stage going to be about, what, 57 green flag laps?
57 green flag laps, yep.
So if it were me, if it were you, Alan, how are you going to split this thing up? When you come into pit road, it has the feel that you're not going to get a caution if you're banking on it.
I'm coming to pit road probably around 20 to go, maybe.
Okay, so you're waiting a little while. You're not going to split it right down the middle?
I don't think I can split it right down the middle.
Because I think if you run as long as you can, you'd run 40 laps and then have 17. Or you could split it and kind of do more of like a 28 and 28.
Yeah.
I think if I've got a set of 4 tires, I split it right down the middle, get those 4 tires, and kind of just maximize the tire speed as best as I can. Because we saw if you're going to undercut or wait, when Deweese stayed out longer, he stayed out just 6 laps longer and lost 3 seconds to Brian Smith by doing so. It might just be we see a spectrum of strategies, just like we saw in Stage 2. Some drivers coming early to get the tire advantage, some people trying to wait and hope for a caution. It does look like Finnegan going to take 5th place away from Glazer. They've been side by side a couple laps there. And Jacob still holding off Van Schaik there in 7th. Everybody pretty much single filed out at this point. Ryan Patty still a lap down, off the pace. He's about a half lap behind our leaders. So again, just 3 cautions, 2 of those the stage. 9 lead changes. Braxton Deweese has led the most with 46, but Brian Smith is up in his count right now at 37. Glazer has 21, Nate Finnegan with 10, then Patty Ball and Camburn all with single-digit laps led. And Cody Neal is far and away the biggest mover of the race, up 16 positions from where he started. And there it is, Alan. The first driver coming down pit road is Nate Finnegan. In this cycle, he's doing it with just 24 laps into the run, 34 to go. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what strategy is the one that's going to play out the best. I want to split it right down the middle because I know that's going to give me the best speed on both sets of tires, assuming I'm taking 4.
Yeah.
So Finnegan's come down. He's going to go with 2 tires. John McNeil and Camburn have both come to pit road as well. And I think if you're in 6th on back or so, that this undercut strategy might play out if you catch a caution at the right time. But you're also going to be sitting a lap down for a long time. Especially if a couple drivers decide to run the tank dry before they come down pit road.
And I think that's what they're willing to do right now. You got to be... Right now is go time. 32 laps remain here. And Braxton Deweese is almost 2 seconds back behind your leader, Brian Smith. But he's just 6/10, or a half a second lap, or half a second back from Cody Neal. Chuck and Shike on pit road right now. If you're on board with Cody Neal, there's the eyeball test. It's only, oh, that margin is only a half second.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much better place to be if you're trying to find what the fastest line is. You can just follow that 78 and learn from it. But you're also sitting in the dirty air, wearing your tires out faster than he is. But at least from looking at that chart for Cody, he should have 2 sets of tires still on pit wall if he needs it. Check on Brian. He's in the same situation. They both took fuel only on the first stop. And then tires from there. Braxton Deweese has already used up 4 of his sets. So he's still got just 1. So he's kind of hoping for this to run green. Then Glazer, he's already used up 4 sets. So they both just have that 1 set left as far as we can tell. Jacob Smith now on pit road. Here comes Braxton Deweese. I think after last time he learned his lessons. He needs to match the early undercutters as best he can. Neal coming too. Cody Eldred with him. And the lights are coming on here at Vegas as the sun is finally setting down behind the stands. Cody Neal misses his pit stall, has to back up. That's going to cost him a couple seconds, Alan.
And these seconds on pit roads are everything as the right sides are up. Is this going to be 4 tires for Braxton DeWeese?
And now our leader, Brian Smith, coming down. Bentley Glazer coming with him, but Glazer picks up a black flag. Too fast on entry.
No.
That's going to derail the pole sitter's night in the 87. Meanwhile, Adam Ball is now the leader. And you can see Nathan Finnegan not too far behind him, but he's a lap down, so he's going to be looking to get around that 19 as soon as he can. And if I remember right, Ball was one of the last drivers to come down pit road in the last cycle.
He was.
He might be content to try that again.
Or he might be content to stretch that fuel as far as it'll possibly go.
Yeah, because right now he's got Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan both trapped a lap down. And there you can see the battle behind them when this does cycle out. It's going to be between Finnegan and Smith. Finnegan came down pit road first. And looks like he leapfrogged the leaders. In doing so, both of these drivers took 2 tires. At least that's what we can guess from their pit stop time. Both of them with a 10-second stop. But Smith going to take it right back. So they are battling for 3rd and 4th right now because Adam Ball and Charles Woods are still out on track. Just ahead of them. Smith going to try to get his lap back the hard way. And he will.
Successfully.
And this is getting wild as our, 2 of our drivers that needed good days are in the top 6. The 2 drivers in a must-win situation are in 7th and 8th. So Neal losing about 7 positions, at least as it stands right now, from that just missing his pit stall. That's got to hurt you. That's a punch in the gut. So Woods now coming to pit road. That leaves Adam Ball, the only driver that has not stopped this cycle, with the exception of Ryan Patty, who is throwing the Hail Mary now. Still off pace. Not in the lucky dog position, but just 1 lap down. And we'll have to see how that works out if he's on the lead lap. When Ball comes down pit road, he might be because he hasn't pitted yet.
He's got to do something drastic. He's got to dig deep into that magic cat.
And it looks like these drivers that have stayed out, they've got about 5 more laps before they're going to have to come in.
I mean, like, if you're Ryan Patty, this is the 2-minute warning. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, bases loaded. This is everything that you would dream of if you're a sports fan. Here he is. He's back in 16th. He just watches his playoff hopes get dimmer and dimmer as the laps go on. Right now, he is mired into that 16th position, trying to pull out some last-minute heroics.
Neal gets around Van Schaik for 6th. And that will become 5th when Ball comes to pit road. And there it is, the leader and the last car to come down. Makes his way onto pit road. Gets it inside the cone, down to pit road speed. So Brian Smith inherits the lead. Now he's the driver that split it right down the middle. It's going to be about a 28 lap run for the driver of the 78 between his pit stop and the finish. 20 laps to go right now. So we wrap up the round of 8 with the Icon Cup Series. Neal and Van Schaik in must-win scenarios. Ryan Patty desperately needs a caution. He is on the lead lap right now. And then he's got to come to pit road. He went as long as he could. 38 laps for the 30 car.
And that is probably his season right there as he comes down pit road.
And that's what happens in a playoff, format like this, Alan. It's cutthroat. And we said it when we opened the show. Half of the playoff drivers were going to have a bad night tonight and not advance to the round of 4. This is the most aggressive cut by percentage. I mean, we've been shaving 4 drivers off each time, but this is the one that hurts the most because it's the one where half of the drivers go home.
Well, they get to come back next weekend, right?
Well, absolutely. We'll be racing, but
they'll be all glory, and they'll be racing for pride and to to get that momentum getting built up for next season. For the drivers that aren't going to make it through to the next round, this is where you start preparing for Daytona. These last few races here, it all starts at Homestead. You go through and you got a short off season, and then next thing you know, we flip the calendar and it's February. We're right back at Daytona once again, where 30 plus drivers think they got a shot at the championship, and then we get to do it all over again.
Yes, sir. And as we were saying that, Jacob Smith got around the 6 car of Nathan Finnegan, moved his car up into 2nd. He's still about 3.5 seconds behind the leader. But the 4 car continues to have a great comeback from that early contact. Our only caution for cause of the race back on lap 25. And as it stands, I mean, it sure looks like Jacob Smith and Braxton DeWeese are going to fill those final 2 spots to join Patrick Colby and Brian Smith in the round of 4. Remind you kind of how we started tonight on points. Brian Patty was in 3rd. We've talked about his situation and all those incidents. Kyle Purcell actually could not make the race traveling this weekend, so he was out. Neal and Van Schaik in must-win scenarios. And this is how it's played out. I mean, Neal and Van Schaik are sitting right there in 5th and 6th. They could get a caution and maybe gamble on tires or track position or something. They're not out of it. Now
no one's out of it.
Go.
I mean, the pathway to the Final Four is just that much harder to achieve as we have 14 laps to go. I mean, Ryan Patty's now 2 laps down again, mired back in that 17th position. 13 laps to go. Jacob Smith on the recovery run, and all Jacob Smith has got to do is hold it on there, hold it in that 2nd position. Now, the other thing we forgot about is retaliation to Ryan Patty after that contact initially. We will have to look and see if there's any points penalties being handed down after that also.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I am not the legislative expert on the Icon Cup Series judicial system, but from what I've seen, they typically hand out do not qualifies and things like that. Not usually a points penalty, but yeah, could go either way. Yeah, we do have some confirmation in the live chat that Lockett was having some internet issues, taking him out of the race. He's going to finish 18th. And that speeding penalty, getting onto pit road for Bentley Glazer, has dropped him to 16th, 1 lap down. Heartbreak for the 87 after starting out front and leading laps. He could use a caution as well. A lot of drivers with their fingers crossed for cautions, especially Cody Neal, Chuck Van Schaik, Bentley Glazer, Ryan Patty. But it has been one of the cleanest races all season. Just 1 2-car wreck through all 160 laps here at Las Vegas. And Brian Smith just continues to pull away. It's now over 4 seconds between him and his teammate, Jacob Smith. Nathan Finnegan riding in third. Braxton DeWeese 2 seconds behind them in fourth. A battle starting to shape up here between Neal and Ball. I think Neal might have actually just gotten around him. Now, Braxton DeWeese did the same thing he did earlier. He's one of the only cars on 4 tires. And if we check the lap times, I mean, he's matching the leader, though. Brian Smith just so fast out there tonight, even on 2 tires. Adam Ball is fastest right now, and that's because he was one of the last cars to pit. So he's got the biggest tire advantage. He was in on lap 140, about 8 laps later than everybody he's racing with. So time running out for a number of drivers. Brian Smith looking to pick up his 13th win of the season. 3 of those, maybe 4 of those coming in the playoffs. He swept the round of 16, if I remember right.
Right. I mean, could this be the start of a round of 4 sweep?
I mean, he's carrying a lot of momentum here around the track and into the playoffs and the round of 4. We're right along with Brian. Smooth as butter. But he's got, it's all clean air. There's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him putting the pressure on. And he's got just 5 laps to go to see the checkered flag. But I'm still impressed with our playoff drivers, Alan. Right now, 6 of the top 8 playoff drivers. They showed up tonight. Everyone's not going to get exactly done what they needed to get into that top 4, but everybody's showing up at the end of the season when it matters most.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 laps remain here. Ryan Patty's still down 2 laps, still mired back into the 6th to 17th position. And boy, I mean, your heart just breaks for that number 30 car.
Yeah, Ryan Patty, 3 wins on the season, 14 top 10s. Came in 3rd in points, but damage to his car, taking him out of contention and derailing his season. Here with just 3 more races to go.
But again, as we got 3 laps to go, coming to get the popsicle sticks, is Ryan Patty can start working towards Daytona for next season, where he won at this past season. So he'll come into Daytona as the defending race winner of that Daytona 120.
Two laps to go. Brian Smith now over a 5-second lead. Finnegan and Jacob Smith still fighting it out for a second as you see Finnegan scraping the wall. Well, the white flag is out in the air. 78 just got to make it another 1.5 miles. The battle is on for 2nd place. Nathan Finnegan shoots down low. He's going to be right there in the final time around lap turns 3 and 4. I don't think Nathan's going to get him.
No.
Jacob Smith going to bring it home. P2. Nathan Finnegan in 3rd. And that rounds out your podium with Brian Smith taking the win. 2 Buddy Motorsports cars on the podium. And more than likely, Both of those drivers also making it into the round of 4. We know Brian is. I think the points are going to work out in Jacob's favor. He did a great job rebounding from the wreck to get stage points and finish in the top 3. As the 78 comes back around to the finish line, do some celebrating here. Car also doing some celebrating. The drivers are getting ready to jump out of their cars. We'll get our podium drivers up in the booth for the interviews. Starting with driver of the 6 car, Nathan Finnegan's there for you, Alan.
Nathan Finnegan, you know, what a good run you had. Just couldn't quite get it done in that number 6 car to put it on the podium.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. We threw a Hail Mary at it by trying to go for the undercut, and we were trying to save tire all night, and that seemed to, as the race went on longer and longer, it seemed like that really wasn't the strategy. It was just put the throttle to the floor and just cut the wheel the entire night because the dirty air was just too much to overcome. But I mean, we're happy to come away with a podium, all things considered. Hopefully we can start turning things around here and just hopefully get it back in victory lane at some point here before the season's over. But big shout out to the 78. Brian had unreal pace all night and good battle with the 4 there at the end with Jake Smith. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Next week at Homestead.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I told Shane, I mean, this is time we start building for next season at Daytona. What's your mindset as we enter into Homestead next week and finish out the season at Phoenix?
Hopefully, I hope the setup build is similar to how it was when the tire update came out and they ran it a couple months ago in real life and A-Fix ran there. Felt like the setup was it would build loose and it made for a really, really fun race where you had to really wheel the car over a long run and just kind of keep the tires under you and just manage your stuff. And it generated really good comers and goers. And I was kind of hoping for the same thing here at Vegas, but that unfortunately didn't end up being the case. And we'll see what next week brings with Homestead. But really, really love that track. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank and who helped you get it done on that number 6 car?
Yeah, big shout out to the CCR, ECR guys. I know our teammate Ryan had a tough night playoff wise. Hopefully he can get a good run at Homestead next week. I know he really loves running at Miami as well. Appreciate you guys for everything you guys do and putting on the broadcast each and every week. And my wife for tuning in, my parents for tuning in, and yeah, we're on to Miami.
All right, we'll see you in Miami. Have a good night, and congratulations on finishing P3.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Next up is going to be driver of the number 4 coming home in second after being caught up in an early race incident. Jacob, you got a copy?
Yep, I got a copy, guys.
How about that? I mean, there's only one caution the whole race for cause, and you get caught up in it, get a little damage, and then you just rebound in time to get stage points for stage 1, stage 2, and finish in second to kind of slam dunk those points. We're pretty sure you made it into the playoffs up here in the booth math. Anyway, congratulations on that. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it was super fun on the first stage. We were going green for, I think it was halfway through the stage. So Ryan and I were having a great battle, and I want to apologize to Ryan. That was just really, really stupid on my part. After I think he came up a little bit, got into me, I was just frustrated and driving down the front stretch. I guess we were just closer than I thought, and we both ended up getting put in the wall, had some damage. So unfortunately, it looks like Ryan took the worst of it. Was really not my intention. So again, apologies to him. But yeah, I just had to get all the damage fixed. Had to put 4 tires on it, which was a gamble. Use up a full set in the first stage and try and crawl back any stage points I could. So, um, yeah, just definitely didn't have the speed to win it. Brian was super fast all night too. Just had to make the right call on when to pit in the final stage. Got around Nathan, and yeah, just had to give him some dirty air there to hold second at the end. He was quick too.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like if you had fresh tires, it was really fun and easy to pass, and if you didn't, you were in for about a 5 or 6 lap fight with someone, even if you were faster than them. How hard was it to pass out there?
It was super difficult. I mean, I'm glad we could get some multi-lane racing in. 2 tires felt really good, helped the car rotate on the early laps right after a pit stop. But yeah, if you're within 3-4 tenths of somebody and you guys are on similar tire strategy, there's no way you're gonna get around them. It's just the dirty air is too bad, especially if somebody starts driving in their mirror, watching their mirror, trying to drive in your line, and there's just no way you can get around them. So, yeah, just super happy with the last stage pit stop. Just made it at the right time and came home second.
Yeah, I think the other thing we were kind of watching there, we knew your teammate Cody was in a must-win situation, and at least by the best math we had going, it seemed like if he did win, he might have pushed you out. Was there any bit of a conversation amongst the team of that situation at all, or is you just kind of focused on what you can do?
No, definitely no conversation. Cody was locked in. I mean, he was catching Brian, and unfortunately, I think he just split his pit box. So, I would have been bummed if Cody won and knocked him out of the playoffs, but still happy for him if he made that happen. So I think Braxton got me on points. So yeah, Cody winning definitely would have pushed him out. And then at that point, we kind of talked about it before the race. There's every man for themselves. So Brian was locked in, and it was just between me and Cody. Cody, I thought he had a really good shot there at the end. Just unfortunately slid his pit box a little too far. So yeah, just unfortunate.
Yeah, we caught that on the, I think as it was happening live, and saw it cost him a couple positions. But yeah, so congratulations to you, 2 Buddy Motorsports on the podium, 2 Buddy Motorsports cars making it in the round 8, at least by our math, up here in the booth. So congratulations on that. Who else you got to thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, just Brian and Cody, super fast all night. And like always, this Midwest Euro Parts Ford Mustang. Glad we're getting it, and hopefully into the round of 4 here on points, and glad to get it back on the podium here. So, yeah, thank Anthony Tizio. I know he wasn't out here tonight, but he rocked it with his paint scheme. I've been running it since the throwback week. Just super happy with it. So, yeah, everybody's done a great job this season. I can't believe it's already the Final Four, and hopefully we'll have a good battle between potentially me, Brian, Patrick, and Braxton. So it should be a good run to the end.
Yes, sir. Congratulations again. We'll see you out there next week at Homestead.
Thanks, guys.
And last but not least, driver the 78, the winner of the race, in here for you, Alan.
Brian Smith climbs from his race car. Brian, take us to that race, and what a dominant performance you put on yet again, as it never gets old to talking to you.
Yeah, Alan did not qualify where I wanted to, so went into tire conservation mode to start the first stage and didn't plan on putting a set of tires on, and unfortunately caught that yellow at the wrong time before pit stop. So lost a few spots on that opening stage, and then kind of got behind, to start the second stage, and yeah, just kind of picked them off one by one, trying to save, as you do at these 1.5 miles, and threw 2 tires on it in that second stage, and that obviously worked well enough to get it done there. So put 4 on it at the start of the final stage, and luckily we didn't have any fuel mileage games. I've lost a few of those races recently, so it was a pretty straightforward strategy call tonight, and yeah, got it done by over 5 seconds. That's pretty sweet.
I mean, and now we go next week. We go to a track that plays fairly similar into your hands with Homestead Miami Speedway. I mean, if you run well there, yeah, we've seen you in races there. What's next week gonna be? Because now we start over. Are we gonna see another Brian Smith 3-race sweep and riding off to the sunset with that championship?
Well, that's the goal. I don't see that happening with these 3 tracks coming up. Definitely not Martinsville. I've not had much luck there, but at least as far as Homestead, the 3rd time we'll be racing there this year, I believe. I just haven't had good luck there to start the last couple races there. So it was a lot like this track actually, because it felt like you had a lot of grip in 1 and 2 and you could run anywhere. But 3 and 4, just like Homestead tonight, was just not much fun. It kind of felt like no matter what you did, the car was just plowing up the track. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens in the final round, I can hang my head high on or however the season ends, I should say. It was success in my eyes with all the races I've won, and that's just how this format works. We'll have to play our cards right and make the right strategy calls and stay out of trouble for these next 3 races. Gonna start with Homestead, gonna have to get a good run and keep it clean. We'll see.
All right, man. Well, great stuff. Before we get you out of here, who do you want to think and who helped you get it done on that number 78 ride?
Teammates were fast tonight. I thought Cody was going to short pit me and win this race. Sounds like he missed his pit box or something. So yeah, disaster averted there, but he was really fast. Jacob just needed to stay out of trouble tonight, so it was nice to see him get a P2. And yeah, great job keeping it green as always. Great job for you guys doing the broadcast. It's always fun to go back, and you guys have got so much better as the season's gone on. It's been awesome to see. So yeah, that's about it. It was another good night for the 78. And we're going to look to keep it rolling at Homestead.
Great stuff. Once again, congratulations on that race win. We'll see you next week at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Thank you, guys.
And that's going to wrap it up for the round of 8, the Icon Cup Series here in the Las Vegas 250. Brian Smith gets his 13th win of the season. And Jacob Smith races his way in on points, as well as Braxton DeWeese. At least, again, all unofficial points math here on my calculator. We'll give you the full update with confirmation in the pre-race for next week at Homestead. And that's going to wrap it up for us here in the booth. We'll take a look at our final rundown and results. Brian Smith, Jacob Smith, and Nathan Finnegan on the podium. Then Braxton DeWeese, Adam Ball, Cody Neal, Patrick Colby, Chuck Van Schaik, Jake Champion, John McNeil in 10th. Brad Delph, Chris Camburn, Brock Hersey, Charles Woods, Cody Eldred, Bentley Glazer, Ryan Patty, Zach Lockett back to 18th. And then Charlie Widener and Hanover Fist rounding out the 20. Gladelich is on there because he was race control but did not start. Any other closing thoughts for you, Alan, before we wrap this thing up?
Man, I got to tell you what, I am looking so forward to next week when we get to Homestead Miami Speedway. But what a race here. The lights are going to come on here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And the lights come down on the round of 8. Next week, we start the round of 4. And just think if tonight was intense for you, you would have seen nothing as we head south to Miami and get ready for these last 3 races here with the Icon Cup Series. And Shane, I got to give thanks to you, buddy, as you've been here every single week. For the most part, been here every single week. I jumped in right around COTA. So once again, thank you for spending the ones and twos and everything in between. And we got to thank our wives. Also, I want to give a shout out to my brother who finished second in the 4-cylinder division at the Poplar Bluff Motorsports Park last night.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube again this week. Join us next Sunday for the race at Homestead with the Icon Cup Series, as always, on SRM. And we will see you then.